Reality is a construct of perception. Carl is a construct of coffee and bad life choices. Here they meet in Carl versus Reality.
Hello and thank you for joining me for this episode of Carl versus Reality. How's it going? I'm sitting in my podcasting tree. It's freezing cold. Oh my goodness, like the full range of winter weather is here. It's chilly, it's windy. Oh my goodness, it's just, the things I do, eh? But anyway, so I was on holiday last week actually. I went to Center Parcs, which is a nice place to go if you like that kind of stuff. I like that kind of thing really. I like being in the woods, I like being in nature and all that kind of stuff. I know it's sort of like a faux nature with all the amenities. Like there's a wood, but there's a Starbucks in the middle of it, you know. Nothing really wrong with that. I like that. But yeah, there was one sort of thing that happened. Well, we had a spa morning, a spa breakfast, which is, spas are very strange things, really. It's basically you walk around in a robe, and that's pretty much it. You walk around in a robe, and it's one of those things where I was out of my comfort zone pretty soon. I've done, very quickly. I walked into the changing rooms, to get changed into my robe. And within a few seconds, I saw someone's dick. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm on the back foot already. I've just seen a dick. And I wasn't really planning on that, really. It's not really conducive of me resting. But it is a very strange concept when you think about it, though, really. We pay to sit in rooms that are a little bit damp or too hot. Too damp or too hot. That's what we do. We pay money to sit in these rooms that are steamy or too hot. And it is relaxing, though, to be fair. It's hard to explain it, really. I just like sort of sitting there. You sort of feel your sort of breathing just sort of opens up a little bit. And then you sort of relax and all that. It's actually quite nice, really. Just nice to have a bit of downtime. But the thing is, though, is that we pay for these sorts of things. We pay for them. But people are like, I'm going to take my phone with me. Don't take your phone with you. The point is to disconnect and have a nice bit of time to yourself, to basically disconnect and just recharge those batteries rather than sit there on your phone. And there's actually quite a lot of people on their phones, which is actually quite surprising, really. But yeah, it's nice though. I'd really enjoyed sort of relaxing with my girlfriend and all that kind of stuff, and we just sort of felt all nice and chill. We actually fell asleep in one of the rooms, which is quite nice. But there was this lodge place, and there's this little lodge with these sort of like fake fur blanket or faux fur blankets and all that kind of stuff, and we sat there. It was all sort of nice and sort of relaxed, and they had all this sort of like wood effect and all that kind of like fires and like a nice sort of lodge to sit in. And this couple were having like a very sort of hushed argument. Well, I think we should go here for dinner. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, you just basically come in here to relax, and you're having an argument about where you're going to eat. And it's just weird when you think about that. Like, people pay this money to go to a spa, and then are hell bent on not enjoying it, which is just like, what are you doing? I remember I went before, and someone was kicking off about not being able to vape outside. Obviously, there's outside areas, but they weren't allowed to vape. But they're proper kicking off, like really, really kicking off, because they got caught out. They were out there, and someone basically saw them vaping and said, "You can't do that." And the one I was spoken to was rude. The customer service, blah blah blah, and they gave them a free drink, and it was a Stella. That's all I'll say about that. And what was really funny also was that people obviously go for different reasons and all that kind of stuff. And there's a couple of women were talking about one of their son-in-laws having a vasectomy. I was like, okay, that's a conversation happening in front of everybody. That's not a private matter. I don't know who your son-in-law is. I don't know who you are. I'll never see you again. And it's just the opinions of her son-in-law getting a vasectomy. It's people's personal choices and all that kind of stuff, really, isn't it? The thing, when it comes to spas and all that, in my head, there's a certain amount of etiquette. Like, we basically have talking to a minimum and all that kind of stuff. Me and my girlfriend actually got like a little secret code that we use. So basically, we'll squeeze the other person's leg once if it's like, these people are pissing me right off. And if it's 2 squeezes, let's get the fuck out of here before I hit someone. You know, the spa's not doing too good, but the one we went on this time was actually not too bad. There wasn't that many arseholes about. But then at the same time, I think when I thought about it in depth, you know, a little bit more, because as I sort of sat there having a nice time, I was like, well, I guess the spa experience is actually quite subjective. People's experiences are all their own, and what they expect is different. So why am I right in assuming that we shouldn't be sitting there having a conversation about our son-in-law's vasectomy? You know, it's just one of them things. And you know, when it comes to that, I thought, well, do you know what? I can't really get annoyed about people. The expectation is different for what they are, what their experience is going to be. So yeah, I have been to a spa a few times now. I actually do really enjoy it. I still feel a fish out of water with it, really. And I sit there a lot and I think, how can I do this at home? Because this is lovely. Where can I get all this sort of nice hot steam and all that? Where can I get this, like a nice hot room and all that? And I have tried it, trying meditating in my garden and all that kind of stuff, and you're just trying to get that sort of atmosphere going. But unfortunately, my back garden isn't great. Not because it's unkempt or anything like that. It's more of a case of I live. Well, behind me is actually like a playing field or a playground or a park, and there's always young kiddies going about on their moped and smoking weed, which isn't really what I really want, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's just a case of finding those little snatches of nature, which is why a lot of the time I go out for walks and why I like sitting in this tree specifically. I bloody love it. For those of you who are interested, for breakfast, the spa breakfast, I had it was poached eggs on sourdough bread with some sort of posh cheese and a glass of orange juice. Well, it's very strange though. The little cafe bit, the restaurant bit, everyone was sitting around in robes, but there was one couple who were clothed normally, and it's a bit like who's feeling the most awkward here? The people in the robes or the people dressed normally in their civilian clothes? But. Yeah, it's just one of them things, isn't it? Also had to go in a plunge pool. That wasn't actually in the spa, but that was, it's actually part of the amenities. And basically what a plunge pool is basically really cold water. And, it's just a case... It does have its benefits, its cryo benefits. I don't know what they are specifically. But for me, it was a test of a mind of a matter, like how long could I do it, just to see, like, could I acclimatise to it? And I got in there and I was like, yep, it's chilly, yep, this is fine. And then I went all tingly and all that because I thought, I can do this all right, it's not too bad. And then when I jumped in the pool after that, oh my god, it's like jumping into a bath. Absolutely lovely it was. But the thing is, I like the plunge pool. It's just like a nice sort of experience, like going from the really cold to the normal sort of temperature, and feeling like jumping in a pool of bath water. People were dicking about in it. Like, oh, I'm going to go in the plunge pool, jump in, oh, it's too cold. And then basically that's what kept happening. I saw a group of like 3 guys in there once, basically who can outlast the longest. And then like who's got the smallest dick competition, really, because it shrivels up. But yeah, it's a weird thing, sort of the who's the most manly competitions and all that kind of stuff. That's all about, isn't it? I mean, like the blokes who are walking around in shorts still, right? They're doing it throughout the winter. They're trying to prove some sort of point. Not sure what point they're trying to prove, or who they're actually trying to impress. That's the other thing. Like, I don't understand that mentality, really. In fact, I actually make a point of never acknowledging anyone wearing shorts, especially when I'm wrapped up in like a woolly hat and gloves and a coat and all that kind of thing. The thing is that I think it's very sort of easy to make fun of those kinds of blokes, really. It's low-hanging fruit. Really, innit? But it's just one of them things. But yeah, the thing is also is like when it comes to this sort of like cold therapy and all that. Cause I am a hippie. I'm a card-carrying hippie, and I'll give most things a bit of a go actually, just to see how it is. Just to give it a bit of a try. I once did a flotation tank, like Lisa Simpson in The Simpsons. When she got in that flotation tank and then she started like tripping balls and all that kind of stuff. I didn't trip balls, but I had a great experience of just sort of floating about and all that kind of stuff. However, there is a slight problem. They don't tell you about flotation tanks, is that you can feel a little bit seasick. And I wish they'd have told me that before, but they didn't. But there we go. But it was nice though, because it's like complete like pitch black, and you can't feel any, you feel completely weightless, and there's sort of no gravity and all that, and it's just like you're sort of just floating, just basically. I felt like just like a brain. That's what I felt. I just felt like my existence was basically my brain, because I couldn't feel, anything, because basically the water is body temperature, so you can't feel your body, you can't feel anything. You just feel like a ball of energy. If that isn't hippie-ish, I don't know what is. Yeah, but yeah. If you are thinking about going to a flotation tank, what I will suggest: take some seasick tablets, or like some Travelies, whatever they call it, or wear a neck pillow. But the neck pillow does sort of ruin it a little bit, because you can't sort of get in that hole. You can't hear anything. Anyway, that's about it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that on YouTube and the old TikToks and the Instagrams. It's got a subscriber on YouTube. That's pretty good. So if you are that person, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anyway, I'll back again next time for more of this, whatever this is. So until that time, take care of yourselves, and ta-ta.